how things are run around here.
Try to stay calm, Jessie.
Buzz, you know me. I'm the definition of calm.
There is one character that you guys and gals wanted to see more than any other character in the last couple of weeks, and that is Jessie from Toy Story. And today we draw her in 6 different styles. We're going to start off with the cartoon effect. If you're new to this channel, my name is James from J Kirsch Art, and I love taking all of your favorite characters and transforming them in fun, new ways. It's kind of like my shtick. But if you like the content you see so far, then please do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe button, so you never miss out on another piece. Now, let's talk about how we're going to go about the cartoon effect. For the cartoon effect, I like to use paint pens specifically because they have a really smooth, illustrative look. Now, if you only have alcohol markers or color pencils or even crayons, that's absolutely fine. You do with whatever the materials that you have. Just make sure you follow the basic principles of a cartoon effect, and that's going to be smooth, bold colors throughout the entire piece. We're going to try to limit the streaking, and we're going to try to limit the haziness that some of these colors can have. We want smooth coverage. We want it to be silky and buttery, flat and matte across the whole image. Now I am changing things up. I am going with a kind of a dark blue aesthetic for the shadow here, and that's just because, well, I want my own little flair on this. I don't want it just to be a simple dark red. And when you're doing your cartoons at home, you can add as much or as little detail as you want. For instance, even though it's not cartoon specifically, when we look at anime, they have these really highly beautiful rendered drawings. You can go with a simple Saturday morning flat matte cartoon style with no shading at all, or maybe just one shading. You do whatever you like. That is what I want to definitely preach upon you in this series, is make everything your own and have fun with it. Popping in this last little highlight here in the eyeball, and we're going to call this section complete, as we're going to skip over to the horror side a little bit early in the video. Yeah, that's right, because we're going to be doing 2 brand new styles, so don't skip ahead, because you're going to see 2 new styles that I haven't ever tried before that you, the community, have recommended me try. For this effect, I basically went with a simple horror zombie, basically your Halloween campy zombie that you would see, and it basically threw Jessie's image over the top. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to add lots and lots of grays. Whenever we look at any zombie character, there are tons of grays and greens in their skin tones, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to layer in all these murky greens and browns and yellowy hues over the top, and that's how we're going to get a really cool undead character. Whenever I'm doing any kind of detailed work, especially with alcohol markers, I want to go about with a single layer first, and then I will punch in all of my different variations of color. So here you're going to see me add in some green grays and some blue grays, just to give that little bit of hue, a little extra texture to it. If we just do everything in a green, and then a dark green, and then a light green, it kind of has a porcelain look, and that works really well when we're going to do the realistic side later. But when you're trying to make things look horror or human realistic, you want to add color. Use color theory to your advantage to make the characters feel like they're jumping off the page. Now that Jessie's gotten really creepy, we're going to head over to a new effect that I'm going to call the fade effect. And when I had this comment in my channel recommend that I kind of do a fade where the color starts really dark and then kind of fades out, I thought that was a really cool concept. Kind of like whenever you see these transitions and the image just fades into dark and then fades in, or how a movie transition just slowly fades in from a dark into whatever scape you're viewing into, that's kind of what I was envisioning here. Starting off with a thick, bold outline, almost cartoon style across the whole thing, and then just doing a classic shade or value tone into a light source, kind of what you would practice in art school. And you know what? This is a really cool effect to try because it will help you develop how to shade characters, how you take something from really dark and slowly transition it to a light source either in the middle or off to the side. And I want you to understand that this really is a great fundamental exercise wrapped inside of a style. As you're going to see, we're taking grays and we're slowly pushing them from the edge towards the center and then building up layers of gradation across the whole thing. And then we're going to add color depending upon where the color may or may not be. And this will teach you how forms, shapes, and structures exist in an object and how you should be shading them. This is just very basic 3D dimension, 2D dimension emulation, but in the end, this song still remains the same. What you want to do is try to achieve a very basic concept of how an object moves in color, in light, in space. And I actually kind of like it. If you're a beginner, try this out. If you're struggling making things look 3D and learning how to blend them, you really should be practicing how to blend objects, and this is kind of like a way of practicing without practicing. Let me know what you guys and gals think about the fade effect, and if you want to see it more in the future, as we're going to head on over to a fan favorite, and that is the radioactive style. And once again, for those of you that are new to the channel, the radioactive style is, simply put, making Jessie look like she is now fully radioactive. Whether it's a radioactive doll or a radioactive ghoul like in a video game, doesn't matter. We're just trying to make her look like a glowing radioaction figure. So whenever we think of anything that is radioactive, it primarily is light greens, bright yellows, lime greens, some dark greens, but basically light translucent colors. And if you're hearing that noise in the background, yeah, I'm still going to keep this in. That's my cats going banana sandwiches. They're playing with a spring. But all joking aside, basically what we want to do here is to add lots of nice vibrant yellows up against these lime green colors, and make sure you're using alcohol markers. Now, if you do not have alcohol markers, you can use a Crayola marker or a cheaper water-based marker. I would just veer away from paint pens specifically here, only for certain details, and the reason for that is radioactive is supposed to be glossy, it's supposed to be translucent, and paint pens are so permanent, so vivid, and so bright that they kind of wash things away. Here's the aforementioned paint pens coming in for all these nice little subtle textured lines. I mean, that's really all they are. You don't have to add them. It kind of adds that little radioactive Geiger meter effect look. For me, the inspiration was kind of drawn from Fallout and their green textures, so I just want to emulate that in this little image. Up to the next new effect that we have, it's going to be the yarn effect. And basically, we're going to take Jessie and make her look like she's been knitted into a yarn doll. And this was really hard. I actually wound up, as you're going to see here, redrawing the entire thing. I kind of thought I had it mapped out. I'm like, oh, I'm going to make it look like disco globe effect and just kind of round the edges off. And then I wound up just redrawing it completely, as you're seeing here. I erased everything off, and I kept it a little bit looser with this sketch this time. I didn't want it to be too tight because the inking is going to determine how these little yarn threads look. And this is my first time doing it, so what you're seeing here is all my own original composition. So I'm kind of just thinking about things as I'm going along and winging it. I want you to learn as how I'm trying to learn. Whenever I'm doing these things, I really don't test them out too much because I want you to see my foibles. I want you to see how I might fail and then get better at doing styles later on. And that's pretty much what is happening here. What I'm learning is there are certain highlights and textures that need to be addressed, and the dark areas are really dark and the light areas are incredibly light. It's similar to how I do my disco globes effect, but it's really dependent on the darks and the rounded nature of each individual segment. I went with a bigger segment stitching here because I basically was new to the effect, and the detail I left it a little cartoony because once again, I didn't know how to tackle it. So you kind of start simple for the first go around, and then later on we'll work in some more color pencil texture work and knitted highlights and subtlety to really amplify the realistic side of what this style could be. But for the first crack, I really just want to get down color theory and the concept of what it is, and we want it to look like it's a stitched wool doll. I think the whole thing came out pretty darn good. Let me know what you think as we head over to the last style, and that is the realistic effect. Now, if you're new to this channel, like I've said numerous times throughout this episode, if you are new to this channel, the one thing that I always preach with any realism or realistic style is do try to get all of the color down on the page first if you're a beginner, and even if you're an intermediate artist. This kind of helps you just see all the shapes and values a little bit easier. It also just makes it feel more complete. A lot of times if you're trying to hyper render out one little eyeball and then all of a sudden you notice something and you might have messed up in the sketch and now some of the alignment's off, well, you really can't undo it. But if we kind of map in everything with a little bit of color, then we kind of make it feel like in our mind's eye that the whole image is kind of complete, or at least getting to some aspect of complete. And by doing so, we can then work the whole image a lot easier. I don't want you to hyper realistically draw out every little section. Instead, what I want you to do is to work through bits and pieces of each section at a time, and then taking together the whole image as you're doing it. So I worked on the hat. Now I'm going to work on the hair. Since we mapped everything out, we know kind of how the colors are supposed to feel. But if we need to make things a little warmer or a little cooler, we can go back later and add those details in because we're not finished just yet. When I was working on Jessie's hair here, I noticed that this is probably how I would work on the yarn effect later on, because I really took the time to map out all the subtle little variations of texture and little subtleties of color play and the dark and light aspect ratio in the hair specifically, and how also I could layer alcohol markers over color pencil work and get a little bit more of a three-dimensional blend. It is a much more tedious effect if I was trying to do yarn 3D or realistically, because it is very time consuming, but it could look really rewarding in a smaller section. Now, because this is a realistic doll, we are going to go with more of a porcelain look, so instead of just adding some greens and some yellows and reds into the skin tone to give it a little bit more vibrance or warmth or cooling, we're going to go with a simple brown shade and a light white shade over the top, and blending those out to give the 3D value that will give it a more of a porcelain or more of a plastic doll-like look, which is exactly what we're trying to go for with a realistic doll. Now, we are almost wrapped up with this video, and I couldn't do it without all of you, my subscribers. So if, once again, you like what you see, then please do me a favor, smash that like button and subscribe button so you never miss out on another piece. But also, once again, huge thank you to all of my channel members. Now, I know I don't have a lot of you, but the ones that I do have, I do cherish, because you guys make it so that way I can keep doing the things that I like to do, and that is provide you with all of the awesome content that you guys see here twice a week and with a whole bunch of shorts. So if you like what you see, once again, please do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe button so you never miss out on another piece that I like to do, because one of my favorite things is reading your comments about how I transform all of these wonderful characters in fun new ways. I mean, it's kind of like my thing, but I also just love hearing how you guys and gals have grown so much just by watching my channel. Your comments don't go unnoticed. I read every single one and I reply to every single one. In every waking moment that I have, that is what I do. I love to see what you guys write in the community, because you are the community. You aren't just a part of it. You literally make and hold up what this channel is. So thank you all once again. So please do me a favor. Let me know which is your favorite section as we are complete. Let me know in the comments. Thank you all for stopping by. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video.